This is going to be part one of the videos I'm going to do. Tomorrow I'm going to bring two or three students in, and they're going to talk about their asthma. I reached out to some older kids and some younger kids, and I found out that some of the younger kids have some a little better insight and want to cooperate more. So we're going to bring a couple younger students in tomorrow to be able to speak about their asthma. But for today, I'm going to talk about what I wrote in our final paper and give a little summary. First thing is we're talking about disabilities. Before I mention asthma, disabilities happen in every school, in every city, every state in the country. And it's not just asthma. There are hundreds of social, mental, and physical disabilities that us as teachers need to be aware of, understand, and learn, because A, it's best for the student, B, it's best for the class, and C, it's good for us to be knowledgeable in case a situation occurs from their disability. So this is no knock on classroom teachers, because I have a classroom teacher who's a good friend of mine actually making this video for me right now. But a classroom teacher, especially in the lower elementary levels, may have 25 or 30 students. Someone who teaches junior high may have 2 or 3 classes they see every day, and that may be 60 or 70 students. And even in high school teacher, classroom teacher, math, science teacher may see 5 or 6 classes, which may result into about 100 students. Us as physical education teachers, we may see a lot more, and I know in this school, I have 515 students every week from pre-K to 8th grade. Now for me, I think it's more difficult to have to understand disabilities of dozens and dozens of children, whereas a regular classroom teacher does have to know how to handle their particular students every day, but they may only have 1 or 2 disabilities in their classroom that year, if any. I know they do a lot of hard work, and day to day it's tough, but for us, we have to learn all 30, 40 disabilities of each child, because they're different in severity and things they need and how to be accommodated and modified. So my topic was on asthma, and I think asthma for physical education for this project is it fits pretty well for me, but I know that asthma does not affect students in the classroom that much. I'm sure they may get nervous over a test or something like that that may cause a flare-up, but for me, in physical education class, the children who have asthma need to have proper documentation. They need to have a schedule on whether they need their medicine or not, and when they need it, and we'll go over that in a second. But asthma in general is a chronic lung disease. As you see, I kind of wrote this out on the board here. Asthma is a chronic lung disease that affects the airways. It says here that it inflames and narrows the airways, and then airways are tubes that carry air into and out of the lungs. So somebody like myself who doesn't know what asthma feels like and never had asthma has airways that can let me breathe in and breathe out without any problems. So someone who has asthma has this inflammation that makes the lungs swell up. And when the lungs swell up, it narrows the airways, causing mucus. It makes it difficult for them to be able to breathe or catch their breath. And all symptoms are extremely serious. A lot of times, especially in physical education, a student may be out of breath from asthma, and it may be very minor. They just take a rest, and after a couple minutes, they're fine. But they need to have their medication on premises, or we cannot let them even participate. Some of the symptoms that we have here are recurring periods of wheezing, tightness in the chest, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, and really heavy, vigorous coughing. When this happens, as a teacher, we need to right away stop the student, and we need to get them the medicine as needed, drink of water, rest. However we know about their asthma, how severe it is or not, we need to act appropriately. To modify these students, there are several things we can do. First of all, someone with asthma that has their medicine with them can normally do everything, but they might need to do it at a different level or pace. So let's use an example of a 1-mile run. If all of our students are running a mile, the child with asthma may have to walk the mile. Or if we're doing fitness testing that involves sprints or a shuttle run, instead of doing the sprints as fast as you can, maybe they would do a light jog. I wrote a couple examples here. If we were playing football and the student was a wide receiver, maybe they could be wide receiver for 25% of the time to get that activity and to get their blood flowing and running, but the other 75% of the time, maybe they could be the quarterback. So they can still participate in the game, but they're not getting winded and using all their breath. Also, soccer or hockey, maybe they can play a little bit in the field, defense, but also the majority of the time maybe they can be the goalie. They're still involved in the game, they're still participating with everybody else. Because the main thing is, we do not want a student to be sitting out or doing something different than the rest of the kids. It is our job to modify the situation so they can be included with us. Also, we can reduce how far they run. So a child might be able to do a distance run, but instead of doing a mile, maybe they can do a half a mile or a quarter mile to modify their needs. Normal treatment of asthma is a general inhaler. It has steroids in it. The child just puts it up to their mouth, breathes in. It's supposed to open the airways within a few seconds. I do have some students who come over with a timed inhaler, meaning that at a certain time, no matter if they're having a flare-up or not, they have to take their inhaler, which prevents them from having any kind of flare-up or attack. And also, some parents or doctors send in notes saying that they don't need to have it timed, but they need to have it with them so they're able to take it in case of a situation that occurs. So it's important that the student has the inhaler or they cannot participate, because if something occurs, knowing they're diagnosed with asthma, it's on myself and the school, and we'll be the ones who get in trouble. Also, we need to make sure we give these students proper rest. Anytime they're feeling a little winded or tired, they're going to get the proper rest. So, in wrapping up, just a quick summary, asthma is something that affects your airways. It builds up mucus, it narrows it. I have about 22 students in my school out of 500 who have it, some severe, some not so severe. One of the children on the next video has it pretty severe and has a timed inhaler. Thank you for listening to this video, and hopefully you're looking forward to the student video next.